Although this is dangerous to the sense of sight, but these supporters of Peter Obi are ready to be as practical as possible while trying to showcase where they want their party and candidate to be, the pinnacle. This is one of the side attractions at the 100 million global march of all obedient movement in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, ahead of the 2023 general elections scheduled for 25th February. The political support base and electorate came out in droves to express their unflinching support for the presidential aspirant of the party, alongside his running mate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. The convener and head of strategy of the global march, Marcel Ngogbe, said the country can't afford to waste its national life by getting things wrong at the polls, and that is why the youths are determined to rescue the situation by adopting a tripartite approach to elect the right president for the country.
Every single tenure we waste our lives, 4 years, 8 years and all that. So at the inception, the obedient movement came together and said, enough is enough, that Nigeria needs to move ahead the way other civilized countries are moving. So what we did was that we deployed what we call a three-pronged strategic approach. One of the first steps we did was to identify a candidate that speaks to the yearning of Nigerians that we know that would stay and work for us. And that is our first approach of strategic positioning. Now, once you identify a candidate, remember the political space of country where you have money bags, okay? So you don't want your candidate to carry baggage. When people sponsor your candidate, then it becomes a baggage. When he gets into government, they want to influence him and tell him, remember, we put you there. And that is what these people call structure. Their structure of corruption. Now, that structure is what has stopped this country from moving on. Where a small few people that have stolen the money of the people will now use to also install a government. So when we have deployed our first strategic approach of positioning, we now say we need to mobilize resources massively for the candidates we have chosen, and then we use the mass media and the general masses to mobilize resources. One thing I want to tell you is this: if you calculate the amount of resources that the obedient movement has put into this campaign, no any presidential candidate can match it. And this is what you get when the masses come together to put their resources together.
I'm the focal person for support.
Head of Obedient support groups, Nina Atalo, insisted this is the time for youths and women to determine the future of their country. She stressed that Obi has already pledged his unalloyed support for women while promising to empower them.
This is our time. Is when we say youth, not just youth. This is the female. This is the time for our female gender. And our candidate, our principal, has categorically said, times without number, that he is very, very interested in our agenda, in positioning us, in pushing us further. In fact, he believes in our strength. He believes in what we bring to the table.
Similarly, the co-convener, Peter Obi Support Network, Tochukwu Ezioke, took a trip down the memory lane to examine the tribulations of Nigerian youths as he gave a vivid account of how NSAS protesters were killed.
On the 20th of October 2020, the world watched as the Nigerian youths were massacred, and they were massacred at the Lekki toll gate. To date, Nigerian youth feels that we feel that we have never been given justice. And because justice was never given to us, we had a charter of demand. This charter of demand was handed over to the President of the Republic of Nigeria, and nobody addressed this charter of demand. We call on all Nigerian youths that are still angry that our brothers and sisters, siblings were killed, that we must take our anger to the poll. On the 25th of February 2023, we must take our anger to the poll, and we must use our anger. There is no need to go on the street to riot. We must use our anger to punish those that denied that no life was lost.
It remains to be seen if the energy displayed by these resolute supporters in Abuja will be matched by their determination to vote and make their votes count across the country, with the countdown to the 2023 presidential election reduced to days. In Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Abiodun Mohammed, Top Accolade News.